Mike Papantonio is on the line with us. ringofireradio.com is the website. Attorney and host of Ring of Fire Radio and Ring of Fire TV on Free Speech TV. Hey, Pap, how you doing?
Tom, how you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. I am guessing, we were talking this morning in our show prep meeting, that your head has been exploding over the last few days just watching what's going on. I'm just, what do you think about these people who just, it cost us $24 billion, took all that money away from women and infants and children and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Well, Republicans they've lost 5 times in the last 6 presidential cycles, and this doesn't help them anymore. One thing I hope the Democrats do this time, I call it humiliation rehabilitation, and that is where you spike the ball in the end zone, you dance in the end zone, and you say, you know what, get used to this, you're going to see more. But unfortunately, already the Democrats, for the most part, are trying to be politically correct about it. We can't upset the teabag Republicans, which is nonsense. Although I did see Obama come out and say, if you want to stop Obamacare, go out and win your own election, which that's what we have to do. And I tell you that, it's what I tell young lawyers to do, Tom, and that is when you win against an opponent that you're going to have to go to trial with again and again, you want to let them know you've won. You want to reiterate that you've won, and you want to make it a part of the culture, your culture of winning. Democrats have been very bad about doing that. They seem to be falling into the same thing right now. And rather than getting out and saying, you know what, you bunch of cuckoos, put yourself here. You lost 5 elections out of the last 6 presidential elections, and we now have a new mantra, and that is push back, push back. So I think that's the message I'd like to see out there as a practical matter. Knowing Democratic leadership, we probably won't. But I think it's an important message because what it does is it continues this it motivates this notion of we can win if we push back.
Yeah, and 5 out of the last 6 presidential elections. Didn't George Bush win twice?
Yeah,
Or are you saying he didn't win the first time?
Yeah, well, exactly. I guess that's the way to look at it.
I mean, he really didn't.
Yeah.
In fact, if his brother hadn't knocked 80,000 African Americans out of the voting rolls, there wouldn't have even been a doubt to take to the Supreme Court.
Well, at any rate, it's a message. You can't squander $24 billion and cost the American public 900,000 jobs and expect anything good to come out of it. But the problem is, Tom, we're working with a Congress that is it's an animal we've never seen before. I was taking a look. I don't know if you saw this Sunlight Foundation that did a fairly extensive study, and they tried to find out what's happening to Congress as far as the dumbed down factor. And they found out that the members of Congress, freshman Republican that came in this last go-around, are speaking at the lowest grade level in the history of Congress.
Really?
In other words,
it's not just Louis Gohmert.
Yeah, we're moving into uncharted territory where the leadership has been dumbed down so much in order to appeal to the gerrymandered, crazyville kind of dumbed down voters that they're speaking like them, they become them rather than showing leadership. It's like, I guess, the equivalent, Tom, of having a 2-year-old who says, I just want to eat candy. I don't want to eat anything but candy. And Mom and Dad, you got to feed me candy, rather than Mom and Dad saying to the brat child, no, you're going to eat real food. You're going to actually live like you're supposed to live because I'm your parent. We're going to show leadership. Well, these dumbed down kind of congressmen that led us through this travesty, this disaster that's cost America so much money, when you look at the numbers about their ability to communicate, lowest it's ever been.
Well, and they're not just saying, I only want to eat candy. They're saying, I only want to eat candy, and if you don't let me, I'm going to burn the house down.
Yes, that's very well put.
I mean,
that's very well put. So it's something we've never seen before. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, stupid sells, especially when you have gerrymandered the voters that you want into Stupidville.
Pap, as a colleague in the media, I would like your thoughts on this comment. This is my take on this whole thing. If the mainstream media, if the corporate media had actually told America on day one of the hostage taking that John Boehner had a clean CR, and if he put it before the entire House of Representatives, it would have passed. We know that. 20 Republicans were on the record saying, I'd vote for it. Only took 17. If the media had simply said that on day one and said it loudly and clearly and said it day after day, this thing would not have lasted more than 2 or 3 days. But the media made hundreds of millions of dollars in increased ad revenue because of the spectacle.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Tom, they couldn't lead us into a war in Syria. The media was actually trying to be part of that.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't get us embroiled in a war in Syria like they did in Iraq. The media couldn't make money that way. So they left out really a big part of the story. Although, Boehner's easy to attack, but look what Boehner's been suffering from. He's been suffering from these cuckoo teabagger Republicans that he has to confront every day. Had they told the story, Boehner was solidly behind it. If you go look at the history, Reid had to come out and say, wait a second, why isn't the media talking about the fact that Boehner had a deal with me? It was a clean deal. We had it all worked out. And instead, they focused on Cruz. They helped Cruz raise $2 million for his campaign. They helped the new Joe McCarthy become that new image that people like to watch because they're so damn crazy. Yeah. And so you hit it on the head. It was another failure of corporate media. There is no mainstream media anymore, Tom.
Yeah.
The best media they get is from people like you. It's not from corporate media anymore. It was a scam that they pulled on the American public by not telling the truth.
Yeah, and it's a real tragedy. And I track this back to Reagan stopping enforcing the Sherman Act, so we had this media monopoly. Reagan stopping the Fairness Doctrine, so there's no longer an obligation to inform people, and then Clinton signing the Telecommunications Act. So we go from real news to infotainment.
Tom, when you and I started this, when I started this business at least, there were 50 independent organizations that ran the media. Now it's 4. Now I'm talking about all of the major parts of media.
Yeah.
I mean, the major parts, whether it's radio, television, magazines, newspapers, it's bundled up into 4 or 5 major corporations, and you don't have diversity that would have told the story that you're talking about right now, that would have avoided this stand down that was taking place, because at some point the Republicans were saying, oh, gee, this is good for us. Our crazies back home in Stupidville that we've gerrymandered into Stupidville, they really like this. So let me get on the platform and talk about it some more. That was Ted Cruz, completely.
Yeah. Amazing. Mike Papantonio, check it out. Ring of Fire Radio every weekend on the radio. Ring of Fire TV every weekend on Free Speech TV. You can find times and dates and stations and all that kind of stuff over at ringoffireradio.com. Pap, you're doing a great job. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
We'll be right back.